Yo guys, welcome to the last lap. Don't forget to drop a lovely, juicy 5-star rating if you're watching on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Hope you enjoy, and let's get into it.
Ferrari, who once again broken down in a race, engine issue by the sound of it for Charles Leclerc.
Slow button on.
Mate, some things
Ferrari's back.
Fred might have come in, but it doesn't change overnight.
No.
I heard he built the engine.
Maybe.
I heard it was him. I heard he was up in the early hours of the night.
Well, there's all this talk about like reliability. You can bring reliability upgrades. You can't bring performance upgrades. And then to have this happen, and Charles was looking for a comfortable P3, really. I mean, maybe Alonso would have got close at the end, but yeah, it's more of the same, isn't it, for the Tifosi? Sorry if any of you are watching, but it's not good, is it, Brev?
Yeah, support group round at ours tonight.
Yeah. Open at any time.
But it wasn't even that. It's like the fact that Science's pace fell off as well.
I was going to say, surely is that like probably one of the most concerning things? You know, breakdown happens at any time.
There's two big worries there.
Reliability obviously is a big worry, but it can just be a one-off, whatever. But for tyre wear and pace to drop off that significantly in comparison to like everybody else, surely that's a concern.
Definitely. I mean, I think Ferrari have dropped the ball this season because last year, their race pace wasn't as good as Red Bull, but their qualifying pace was. They got so many pole positions, arguably, they got so many pole positions, 24 wins, that it was actually really disappointing for them. But this year...
Charles got 9, Max got 7.
Yeah. So. And then this year, they're 3-4 tenths off of the Red Bull at the first race. It's not looking good. It is a step back for them.
Well, like you said,
They didn't even bother, did they?
I can't hear that phrase now. Sorry.
They didn't even bother, did they, with Charles's second flying lap? Because they were like, we'll just save the set of soft tyres.
And then Charles locked up in like lap 3 or something. Because that was the thing, like you were saying, like within the first 6 laps, Max was about 7 seconds ahead of Charles. So it's kind of
that was simple. I don't remember seeing that. Certainly in the first half of the season, there wasn't many Red Bull wins like that one.
Yeah.
Where it was 25 seconds back to, or it was like 10 seconds back to Perez and then another 25 seconds back to anyone else. That's crazy.
It was back and forth between them. In Bahrain, Max versus Leclerc fight. Saudi, they had a fight. Yeah. Australia, they were battling closely and then Max had the engine issue. So, it was a close fight and now it's just...
Do you think Ferrari's chance at a championship before the 26 regulations is now been and gone? Because I feel like last year they could have fought, like if they hadn't have had whether they would have beaten Max and Red Bull at the end, even without all of the strategy fuck-ups, I don't know. But it feels like, based off what again, it's one race, but like I do worry that ship sailed now and that chance has gone to really fight to catch up to Red Bull and fight with them.
I don't think it's gone completely. I mean, they got issues with tyre wear across race distance, but you can tune that and tune for it in terms of your suspension and things like that. It's not like they're fighting for 10th or fighting for points.
But it's just Red Bull looks that good though.
But with reduced wind tunnel time and things like that, is it going to play into Ferrari's hands?
But then you've got the problem is as well, you've got Aston Martin up there now as well as Mercedes, and Mercedes outscored Ferrari in the second half of last year. You look at the momentum Aston Martin have got now, and seemingly they were on par. Obviously Charles was ahead of Alonso before pulling up, but this is the problem as well. It's not like Ferrari haven't just got to worry about Mercedes now being behind them and Red Bull being ahead. There's now another team potentially like in the fight. And that's part of the problem. That's another team to take points away from you.
Yeah, I think looking at last year as well, I think out of the top 3 teams from last year, Ferrari were probably the worst at developing a car throughout the season. Now, Aston Martin developing a car last year will be different to this year because they're going up against the likes of Alfa Romeo, Haas, who don't quite have the budget. These 3 teams at the top all have the budget.
And know-how.
And the know-how and the people in the right places. So I think, they can I personally think Aston Martin can outdevelop, but I don't think it'll be to a massive stage where they're going to be top of the board by the end of the season. But Ferrari do need to be looking over their shoulder at them, especially at that difference in wind tunnel time, because it is big.
Ferrari have been on the back foot since the technical directive in Spa about the old bendy floors came in. And since then, they've been a bit off the boil. So I think they're still struggling with that. Hence the compromises they're having to make, which is affecting their tyres. But if they can figure that out, then why not?
if.
A little bit of hope for the Tifosi there.
A little bit, just a smidgen at the
From me,
bit
so
of
it's probably not worth much.
I was going to say a bit of copium.
Bit of copium.
No, but like we said it before, we've said this word many a time. Ominous is what Red Bull look.
Yeah.
Not only Max winning by as long as he did, but Perez getting the move done. And even though he lost out at the start, he was able to get that move done and then pulled a good, I think, 10 seconds on Charles before Charles conked out at the end of the day. So Red Bull looking like they're looking hot.
Yeah, and their car looks decent as well. It's what?
Wait, what? The energy drink looks hot.
Sorry, next question. No, but yeah, it is scary, man. I'm not gonna lie. As I said, literally, you just didn't get many races like that last season. Where Red Bull just kind of took off. That was it. Obviously, there was Belgium where Max came through the field and things like that. But for a first Grand Prix of the season, that's a statement, mate.
What's the mood in the team as far as you're aware, Dan? Is there like a quiet confidence there?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I think they're on cloud 9 at the minute, and I think today's race will probably only confirm that. Especially like we're saying, it's one thing to have Max pull away from everyone and take the top step, but to have Checo, near enough, not outright pace, but to be comfortably taking the second, it's like the whole Mercedes, Hamilton and Bottas all over again, isn't it? Where they're just continuously locking out one and two all year long, possibly.
Yeah, because Charles outscored Checo last year. It feels like from what we saw in that race anyway, that if Checo can close that gap to Max, he was much closer to Max in Q1, Q2 and Q3. He was within, a tenth and a half, 2.5 tenths, tenth and a half. So, and that's the thing, Checo needs to keep this gap relatively low, but also it's like, based off what we saw, it feels like maybe the scrap is more between Mercedes, Aston Martin and Ferrari, and Red Bull. It almost feels like they could quite easily be like off on their own, kind of like Mercedes in the glory days. And that, from Checo's point of view, is good because then there's less pressure for him to be super close to Max because they might have that car advantage. Again, you hope with the wind tunnel penalty, like you say, if that's going to take more note later this season and next season, then maybe there's some hope. But I don't think regardless, it doesn't matter if it's Red Bull or whoever. Like, we don't want to see anyone running away with the championship at the start. No. But it was a perfect start for Red Bull, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You got to be happy with that.
Pretty much. 20 points clear Constructors' Championship already. Take that to the bank. Slap that down.
Almost maximum points because Joe got fastest lap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was just unnecessary. By the way, he literally
we took it away from Alpine, which I wouldn't say is unnecessary.
True,
because if they end up fighting with Alpine at the end of the season, and it's not a bad.
And I think that's a very valid fight that could happen. I think in terms of pace, similar.
Every point counts, especially in that field, not midfield.
Yeah, we've established, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a midfield. It is just a field because it's right at the end.
It's Red Bull, everyone, and then McLaren.
Yeah.